Here we go. Uh, there.
なのになぜか毎年綿流しの晩に不幸な偶然が起こる。
Original Higurashi was an indie game in 2002. Okay, that explains it. I mean, these tags are kind of funny, like that the um, which actually kind of updates the tags now automatically. Also, let me just turn down the volume a little bit.
連続事件にしたくても連続にならないんです。
Man, that's loud. That's very loud. But the Twitch updates the tags automatically, so now it has indie games, visual novels, horror, and adventure games. So that makes a lot of sense.
それでも毎年必ず誰かが死んで誰かが消えていく。
Everybody knows that Higurashi is the best adventure game ever. The story Takano-san told me on the day before during the setup. Now that the curse really had occurred this year, I just couldn't laugh it off.
じゃあ俺たちも狙われるっていうのか。
Yep, right back to it. We are continuing immediately.
毎年
No dilly-dallying.
一人死ぬと一人が消えるように富武さんや高野さんの道連れに消えさせられるっていうのか
I
よ。
wonder if I should shave. This little beard that I have going on is really pathetic. Oh well. My lips at some point become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me.
俺たちそりゃ確かに入っちゃいけないところだったかもしれないが見ただけだぜ。何かを盗んだり持ち出したり見たことを誰かに喋ったわけじゃないんだぜ。
I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really so bad that Tomitake-san and Takano-san deserved such cruel deaths?
第一俺はあんなの見ても全然面白くなかったし高野さんが見て一人で大喜びしてただけだろ。悪いのは高野さんだけだよ。
Jeez.
俺は全然関係ないぜ。
Way to blame someone already dead.
興味もないし関係ないしあの中にあったものだって知ったことじゃない。
I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self in the innermost depth of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I couldn't stop them anymore.
俺はもともと興味なんか全然なかったんだ。リカちゃんの演舞を見ていたかっただけなんだ。
And why didn't you do so, you little goofball?
それをシオンが勝手に連れ出したんじゃないか。
Oh, and now you're just blaming Shion. uh, yeah, it's completely worth the death.
あ
Completely.
の二人が泥棒しようが何しようが知ったことじゃない。そうだよ。そもそもシオンが中に入ろうって言い出したんだ。
Oh, that's horrible blaming Shion. I mean, I've always felt that Keiichi was kind of a... I suppose a coward's not a right
ケイ
word
ちゃんは
for
見
it,
ておく必要があるとかなんとか思わせぶりなことを言って中に引き込んだんだ。
but a kind of a jerk, at least in this chapter.
どうしてくれるんだよ。俺は全然関係ないんだぞ。どうすんだよ。どうすんだよ。
Uh,
どうやって責任を取ってくれるんだよ。
take some responsibility.
おい聞いて。
Yeah. Oh, dear Shion. Without any warning, the phone cut off with the soft sound of a receiver being slammed down. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her own phone number. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again. Ring a ring ring.
もしもし、前原です。
I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment.
前原さんのお宅でしょうか。夜分遅くに失礼いたします。君吉と申します。
Okay.
ご主人様でいらっしゃいますか。
It was the voice of a girl who clearly wasn't Shion. All my hopes rushed out of me.
いえ、違いますけど、親父に用なら呼んできます。
I went to put the receiver back down, but the caller stopped me hurriedly. A mysterious phone call. Yes, indeed, I have no idea what this is all about, but I do feel like it's important to the story. Because most things in this game are important to the story. There's no way that there's such a detail here that it's unimportant.
あ、いえいえ、お忙しければ結構なんです。実は恐縮なんですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してませんでしょうか。
Uh-huh. Yes, that is indeed a weird question.
いえ、誰も来てませんけど。
そうですか。夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんでした。失礼いたします。
Black. I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was on the phone? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Maebara. What are all these selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? Yeah, I think Kimiyoshi was one of the great three families. I am pretty sure that that they are one of those, because that would only make sense. Good thing that you reminded me about that. I would have completely forgotten about that. The more I thought about it, the more I thought that Shion had given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation and didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi Maebara. If Shion does call again, then first apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. Wow, that was quite a place to end the just before the midway point of the chapter, or this kind of checkpoint. Oh, previously we ended just before the chapter end. That's kind of hilarious. Close calls. Achievement unlocked. We have new key. Feels like my mouse is slow. The significance of Watanagashi. Watanagashi, a festival of hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. Perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and a form of entertainment that the perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that spark my interest. According to this literature, even the residents of Onagafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit, but it said that the feast, the dissection. I wanna make sure how to pronounce dissection. How to pronounce Shion probably cried herself to sleep. Oh, don't say that. That's probably true.
Dissection or dissection.
Dissection was an obligatory viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Until now, I thought that the residents of Onagafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. They looked down on those vulgar barbaric humans, cut them open like fish, and by eating them they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least that's what I thought. However, if what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination but fear, then that would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's the possibility that the executions were meant as warnings, encouraging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with the power for their own convenience. Onagafuchi village has been effectively ruled by 3 old families, called the 3 families. That sentence is kinda silly. Ruled by 3 old families called 3 families. Without investigating the 3 families, I probably won't get any closer to the truth of Onagafuchi village. Alright. And next we shall investigate the 3 families. The 3 old families called the 3 families. The 3 families. Yes, I mean that was rather self-evident. Actually, I forgot something. I think I mean my webcam's in a good place. It barely blocks anything. I hope. I really hope that it doesn't block anything. It doesn't look like it blocks anything, so we're just gonna go with this. The 3 families refers to 3 old families who effectively came to rule Onagafuchi village. Hey, look at that! It's the Kimiyoshi. You were right. It's one of those 3 big families. Break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family. I can't scrap, so wonder how close she made it in her investigation of families. Yes, indeed, it is rather interesting. I kinda wanna keep my webcam here because at least I kinda wanna keep it this time around. Or I want to keep it around for once because it's been a while since I've had the webcam for the whole stream, and it also kind of makes me have a good posture. It forces me to have a better posture, so I'm kinda in a better position for the stream, and it keeps me awake. So I can't be like, yeah guys, it's going absolutely fine. I'm Gucci. Yeah. To break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family, the Furude family, and the Sonozaki family. and each of them still exists today. Now, there's only one of these families that we do not know more about, and that is the Kimiyoshi family. Now, I do wonder... I can't recall anything about the Kimiyoshi family in the anime, so... I don't think there was anything... anything about them in the anime, and I doubt that there's going to be any more information about them in this game as either, so we'll just see. Though they don't have as much control as they did in the remote past, they still hold considerable influence today. The three families are considered by legend to be those in whom the blood of the swamp demons runs the thickest. The thickest! The Kimiyoshi family. The Kimiyoshi family appears to have held great power as the head of the three families, but it doesn't have that kind of leadership today. Head of the three families. Alrighty, that is rather significant actually. The current mayor of the village, Yoshichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that the members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as mayor every generation is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office even through popular elections in the post-war era. The Furude family. The center of the village's faith since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded the soul shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro-sama for a long time, but the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house as well presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so their lineage may end in this generation. There is apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family, so the only daughter Rika is the subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. The Zanosaki family. It is said that this family had a certain police-like role of protecting the religious precepts of Onagafuchi village. Of the three families, their relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Of course, today the Sonosaki family is flourishing and the state of affairs among the three families has completely reversed. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Hinamizawa. The three families conferring with each other Last arc you got 2 tips written by Mayor Kimiyoshi, the Fuji Guardians and the Watanagashi. Yeah. Yeah! I'm gonna check what I got in the last arc. Actually, no, I'm not, but that's rather interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's cool. I actually kind of like these tips because they kind of flesh out the world quite a bit more, even though they are basically just extra reading, but they also make for an interesting little break in the story, so that you can actually flesh out information about the world quite a bit on your own time, and especially since they are in these good little breaks in between the chapters. So they are pretty good break points, and they are pretty good points where you get more information about everything, and it's good just to get more information about everything, and they are a pretty interesting way to even give the information. Three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. The current head of the Zanosaki family, Oryo, essentially decides all of the goings on in the village by herself. Oh, well, that's it. Okay. Yeah, the tips are great. I quite agree. They also are giving information that was not actually in the anime itself, which is something that is sorely lacking from the anime, but there was not a really good way to give them in the anime. Late night phone call.
夜分遅くに失礼いたします。
Okay.
君吉と申しますが、ご主人でいらっしゃいますか？はい。いえいえ、その説は本当にありがとうございます。ええ、それでですね、こんな時間に大変恐縮なのですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してないかと思いまして。
Curious. These one-way conversations are also rather interesting.
ですよね。はい。こんな時間に申し訳ありませんでした。それでは失礼いたします。ごめんください。
Big.
どうだい？ダメ？
参ったなあ。どんなに熱中しても電話くらいはしてくれる人なんだけれどな。
囲碁の人の家は全部電話したんでしょ？
Ring.
はい、君吉です。
園崎です。どうです？
Oh.
村長さんは見つかりましたか？
ああ、
Curious upon
ミオンちゃんか。
curious.
片っ端から電話をかけてみたけどダメだよ。
Curiouser and curious.
見つからないんだ。参ったなあ。どこで油を売ってるのかな。
こっちでも心当たりにいろいろと問い合わせましたけど、全然。バッチャにも相談したんですが、青年団を招集して探し回った方がいいだろうということです。
こんな時間にかい。それに別に行方不明になったと決まったわけでもないし。
綿流しの直後ですから、少し慎重に扱った方がいいとのことです。
Yeah, the mystery of the missing mayor. It's rather interesting. I am actually rather interested about
そ
this.
れでも見つからないなら、
I'm
身
rather
代を警察
intrigued.
に通報しましょう。見つかる見つからないは別にして、痛くない腹を探られない方がいいでしょうから。
Is rather curious. I wonder what happened.
おりょうさんがそう言ったのかい。
はい。直接声を聞かないと信用できないなら、電話先に出させますよ。
いえ、わかりました。青年団を集めて探しましょう。
I actually like that voice acting quite a bit because you could hear the regret in Kimiyoshi's voice that he was actually kind of afraid of Zanosaki. So that they are kind of it's clear that they hold quite a bit of power right now. So
それで見つからなければ翌朝に警察に通報します。
青年団の連絡もよろしくお願いしますね。私もバッチャの代行ということでそちらに参ります。
Hi. Oh boy. I can't. Oh, I cannot remember anything like this in the anime.
ありがとう。すぐにみんなを集めます。
ええ、では。
It is obvious that Kimiyoshi still holds, family holds quite a bit of power even still, even if Zenozaki is currently in the lead of the, basically runs Hinamizawa. Okay. Alright. And here we go, let us save the game. End of chapter 8. I can't remember how many chapters this actually is. How many tips do we have just in general. Okay. Not that many. Looked like 16. I wonder how many chapters this actually is. It's probably something like... I have an inkling that it's probably like 12 chapters at most. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. Yeah, these PS3 menus are so crisp. So great. Quite good. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, my mind started to wander. I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time, I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. Just pretty sure. That was when fierce drowsiness assailed me.
くそ寝ぼけてる場合じゃないぞ前原圭一
Oh man, I've actually missed reading for quite a long while. It's been such a long while since I've just had a fun just reading something. I miss this. I hope I can stream more in the future, although it will most likely still be only in the weekends, but not necessarily. Oh well, I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide.
どうしたの圭一今日はどこかにお出かけでもするの
うん学校に
Where are you going? To school? Yeah.
圭一くんなんだか今日も調子悪そう
I think I want to use this, right? I wanna check what the other sprites looked like. What? Why aren't the sprites changing?
やっぱり風邪かな
Oh well, I wanna use the original space. Wait, what does this say? Oh, okay.
風邪じゃなくて寝不足なんだ
Talking about not getting a lot of sleep, guess who slept only 3 hours this day? It's pretty insane that I slept only 3 hours and I'm gonna be streaming for like 5 more hours, so... Oh boy, I'm gonna be exhausted by the end of this. But I'm gonna be happy. I really enjoy streaming, so... It's a lot of fun.
寝ぼけてわけのわかんないことを言い出したらフォローよろしくな
Ugh, I got some Rena flashbacks.
圭一くん寝ぼけたらどんなこと喋り出すのかなちょっと楽しみかもはう
I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning, and for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. I'm glad that you're enjoying the stream, so am I. I'm really happy that I get to continue streaming. I will be changing, I will be moving in January, So, and during the um, Christmas break, I think I will be at my parents' place for the majority of the break. So I don't think I will be able to stream. However, if I am able to stream, that will probably be in my parents' place, so it's gonna be a little bit different. Hopefully I will be able, because I would love to. I mean, I would love to stream every day, but things being as they are, you know. And I still want to do more videos, so like I will probably be doing more videos in the future as well. So I mean I have already scripted I just finished Doki Doki Literature Club, although that has been I just finished it. I mean that video has been long in coming, so long time coming. I should have made that like a month ago, but I'm still happy that I finally have this script ready for it.
よ、
Huh?
ケイちゃんにレナ。
Oh,
おはよ
that's a weird expression she has.
う。あれれ、みーちゃんもなんだか寝不足な感じだよ。だよ。
Mion had gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Okay, I'm going to continue the stream regardless because, well, it wouldn't make sense to pause for like a couple of minutes, so yeah. Hopefully you won't miss anything important. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow.
うん。寝たの3時ぐらいだからね。眠い。
A little tired.
3時？昨日に続いてか？おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。大方漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって一巻から読破してしまったんだろ。うんうん、俺にも経験があるぞ。
I joked. I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Rena's expression immediately darkened.
あれ、ひょっとして村長さんのこと？
Oh, huh. Well, I really have a bad memory in this case because I can't remember Mayor situation in from the anime at all. But it seems like it is an important factor, so I wonder how much of a role it did actually play in the anime.
まだ見つかってないの？
This is a pretty good way of actually tying those tips back into the actual game itself. That reading the tips actually gives you a wider perspective of outside from the perspective of Keiichi, solely Keiichi, and this actually ties them back to the game itself in a really cool way.
うん。
おい、ちょっと待ってくれ。村長さんが見つかってないって何の話だ？
Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today.
おはようございます、ケイイチさん。聞きました？
Ooh, mysterious music.
なんだか大変なことになりましたわね。
俺はその村長さんって人をよく知らないんだが、ジジイなんだろ？ボケて徘徊してるだけじゃないのか？
村長さんはボケてなんかいませんですわ。お習字も教えるし、剣道も教える、はつらつな方でございますの。
Oh, wow. An old man who can teach actual swordsmanship. That's pretty cool. I wonder what kind of person he was.
きっとどこかで迷子なのですよ。迷子いいね。
Well, that changed. Her mind changed rather quick. Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. While my mind entertained down thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats. I do believe that it is better that I heavily accent my speech. I wonder what should be better, like how fluidly I should be. Not, it's been such a long time that I wonder how fluidly I should be speaking instead of pronouncing or having a rather heavy accent. I wonder. Oh well, it is unimportant right now. Good morning. The glass greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy.
すでに聞いている方もいるかもしれませんが、昨日の夜、村長さんが夜遅くになってもお家に帰ってこなかったのだそうです。皆さんの中で昨日村長さんを見た人はいますか？
One or two hands went up in the silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves.
もしも村長さんを見かけた人は大人の人に教えてあげてくださいね。
I actually like that a teacher has her own sprite in this PS3 with the PS3 updated sprites.
それでは授業を始めます。
I really wonder what happened to the mayor. Really, quite a curious case. After that, the same old lessons began. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go look in the mountains. Even now, at this very moment, Britannia burns. I mean, even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikakushi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everybody thought about, but nobody could say out aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than priority. The four of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into their sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomitake-san and Takam-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been my and Shion's turn next.
今度こそ俺かシオンの番なのにな。
I laughed painfully to myself. I yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onikafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned the sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onikafuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish, bottomless swamp, from which no one who thinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom.
そういえばサトシさんがいなくなったのも去年の今頃だったね。
Once again, a mention of Satoshi. Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. He was right. He disappeared. He was right. He disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly.
サトシさんの時も確かこんな風に村中で探したんじゃなかったっけ？
あれも見つからなかったんだよね。あれって結局どうなったんだっけ？確か鬼隠しじゃなかったんだよね。
うん。貯金を全部下ろして家出しちゃったんだって聞いたよ。警察の人が名古屋駅で新幹線に乗るところを見た人がいるとか言ってたもん。
Nagoya Station. Run away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything.
今日は味の加減を間違えちゃったみたいだね。ごめん。
Normally, Rena would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Rena's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though.
そんなことありませんのよ。レナさんのお弁当は今日もとっても美味でしたよ。
Satoko dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls bits of food out one after the other.
おいしいおいしい。今日も格別でしたよ。あれ、それかぼちゃのコロッケだよ。
It's always fun when a voice actor has to voice act. Whatchamacallit? I can't remember, but basically sound effects. Like, nom, 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 nom.
大丈夫？ レナさんのかぼちゃならとっても美味しいですわ。
Oh, Rika. Rena, I would eat your pumpkin any day. Did Sadako dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Sadako kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was.
そんなにうまいなら俺もいただかないとな。このままじゃ全部貞子に食われちまう。
あんまりにも美味しいので、ぜひ圭一さんにも召し上がってほしいですわね。
たまには俺も年上らしい寛大さを見せないとな。よし、遠慮するな。今日は俺の分まで食ってよし。
Lol. He really hated pumpkin, didn't he? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoko, in somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face.
嘘だよ。そんなにうまいものを譲るほど大人にはなれないよ。レナも食え。俺のは夕べのおでんの残り物だが、おでんは一晩経ってからがうまいんだぜ。
お大根が綺麗な色に透き通ってて美味しそう。じゃあいただこうかな。
Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. People building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target.
しかしミオンは遅いな。あいつのお手洗いってこんなに長いのか？
Mian had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet.
多分どっかでお昼寝してるんだと思う。昨べはきっと遅くまで村長さんを探すお手伝いをしてたんだと思うから。
I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that.
村長さんはね、ちっちゃかった頃、みーちゃんのことをすごく可愛がってくれたんだって。
Ryugawa teki tofu grow. Oh, hello, Rudok. I completely missed you. Welcome back to the stream. When Michan was really... Oh, right, I don't need to read that.
いたずら盛りのみーちゃんをすごく可愛がってくれたって。よく話してたな。
How sweet. I see. Naruto. Mian was in shock too. apologies. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Satoko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
そういえばリカちゃんも遅いな。ひょっとしてリカちゃんも仲良くお昼寝か？
How curious.
リカはそんなに遅くまではお付き合いしませんでしたわ。リカがあくびをしたら皆さんみんなしておやすみなさいませおやすみなさいませって。
Now that she mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in a fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that?
リカちゃんって何気に年寄りのアイドルだな。
Well, we actually do know the reason why Rika-chan is treated like an idol.
理想の孫娘像ってやつなのか？
I mean, an idol is a pretty accurate way of calling it.
そんなの知らない。
Like a religious idol.
でもリカちゃんのあくびなら見てみたい。
Oh, you. Oh, you, Rena.
きっとね、ふわーって。はあ、お持ち帰り。そんなに可愛いとも思いませんけど。ふわーって喉の奥まで覗けるくらいの大あくびでしたよ。リカちゃんの大あくび。はあ。
Rena's handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh right, I'm on date duty today, aren't I? I need to go water the flower garden. The garden is right outside the teacher's lounge too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right.
リカちゃんのだけじゃなく、さとこちゃんのも可愛いと思うわ。大あくび。窒息。
Aww.
ちらっと見えた。可愛いの見えた。さとこちゃんのあくびも可愛い。
Aww, Rena. Adorable. Rena was strangling. Rena was strangling Satoko. I don't think that counts as yawning. You know, Rena is, I can't say it out loud, but she's notorious censored, isn't she? Wet. Hearing Satoko make a weird nose like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, but I couldn't help but laugh. At some point the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Maybe Rena was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a not welcome sight. Anyway, let's get over the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest that I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all round. It went all over the place. It was so big one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also, thankfully, on day duty today. He was in the lowest grade though, and was a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. Oh wow. Well, she is very small. How could she even hold a watering can in that case? Oh well, whatever. I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift the... Like I said, I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift a full watering can help me. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one liked, they'd do it all for you, so it'd be a cake.
悪態をついても仕方ないな。諦めて仕事を始めるか。
Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me.
兄ちゃん、倉庫裏に菜園があるだろ。だいぶくたびれかけたぞ。あそこにも水をやってあげな。
あのカレー菜園ですか。じゃがいもとか人
Vegetable
参とか
garden.
カレーの具しか栽培してないっていう。
It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say this to his face though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Rena and Satako were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring, while everyone was cheering them on. Yeah, that's how it should be. Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the eldest disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Satako's whirling elbow and Rena's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. That's my pencil box. I'll just let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner had I thought that than I remembered that I had to teach her the waters. That I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too.
めんどくさいが、やらないと後でいろいろと不利益なことがありそうな気がする。
I gave up, filled the can with the water again, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pillbugs being around. Oh, but when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised.
リカちゃんか。驚かせるなよ。
Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, void of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance.
リカちゃん？
Finally she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. It's a very strange expression on her. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair too, and her clothes looked as though she'd fallen to the ground.
リカちゃん、ひょっとして怪我したのか？
Yes, this is all very abnormal.
転んだとか？
違うのですよ。違うのです。
No problem, Slag. I'm kinda jealous that you have snow. Even though I live in Finland, we don't have snow yet. It has already snowed, but it isn't snowing currently. We don't have snow on the ground. It's very sad. It's not that beautiful outside. I mean, it actually is still like this morning was actually pretty beautiful, but Rika-chan has been crying and was on the ground. Yeah, that was it. I believe Rika-chan ran behind the warehouse and slipped and started crying and was all sad. Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal though.
何があったんだ？ まさか倉庫の屋根の上で昼寝とかしてて落ちたとか。
I'm actually pretty sure that I will be playing for, or I will be streaming for longer than 12 hours today. Because I have so many games that I want to play, and I have so many games that I want to highlight. Like, I have, for the stream highlights, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games. I want to highlight as many of those games as possible. So I won't be highlighting all of them today, but I want to highlight at the very least 2 or 3 today. And I still want to play a few more games that require more reading today, so I'm probably gonna be streaming all the way through the night. So there's a very high possibility that you will be able to join back in after your work. So, and then we can continue with Higurashi and have a lot more fun, because I want to continue with Higurashi because this has been so much fun. I will be streaming. I'm gonna try to stream as long as possible. I will probably make some more coffee at some point though. So, because man, I'm having so much fun. I mean, I kinda want to neglect sleep and stream for at the very least 24 hours. But we'll see, we'll see.
僕のことはいいのです。それよりも圭一に聞きたいことがあるのです。
I got a bad feeling about this. Why do I have a bad feeling about Rika? But I have a really bad feeling that she will also have a deadpan expression on her face and ask whether we whether we went to the warehouse. Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. I'm loving the Higurashi today. Yes, me too. I'm really loving Higurashi quite a bit. I really want to play more Higurashi, and I want you to be here as well. So once you have to go to work or start working, I mean, I'm gonna have a little bit of a break and change the game for a time being. And once you have a little bit of a, like, probably on your lunch, we'll start with Higurashi again, and then have like a longer longer set of Higurashi. And then once you come back from work, we'll have more Higurashi, and we'll have more and more Higurashi. At least that's the plan. Anyway, at first I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered.
俺になんだよ。
She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes, without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers.
圭一、
I know, I knew it! He's getting creepy.
お祭りの晩に何か悪いことをしましたか？
Called it. I mean, that I should remember these things, but I honestly have no recollection of this. Ugh. I really wonder how I should be like pronouncing, like how heavy I should have my accent, because I can easily like use a lot heavier accent and give like quite a bit more Finnish pronunciation for everything. Although I don't know how funny that I mean, I wonder how good that will sound. But we can talk about that at some other point. But yeah, my body gave a jolt from its very core. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain.
圭一、本当に覚えはありませんか？
My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Ugh, that glass breaking sound was kind of heart freezing, blood freezing, blood curdling. Mion asked me, Oishi-san asked me, Shion asked me, and now Rika-chan was asking me. We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact everyone knew. They all knew, and they came to ask me again and again until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomitake-san and Takon-san's death prove it? That's... How should I respond? We never should have entered the forbidden storehouse, and even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? However, I had all but decided what I was going to say.
俺もそこが悪いからな。
You certainly are not, Keiichi.
悪いことの覚えが多すぎて見当がつかないよ。
Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. 10-year-old girls are apparently terrifying. Yes, they are quite terrifying. They can be. Especially in this. Pretty freaking well. This is pretty freaking well done. Rika-chan stared up at me with her innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika-chan released me.
変なことを聞いてごめんなさいなのです。忘れてくださいなのですよ。
She said, smiling her usual smile. Then tap 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 tap, she went running off, as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me. Dot dot dot. Dot 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 dot.
リカちゃん。
If she didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had questions now. Still, asking any of them just be a half-assed way of admitting what I did.
なあ、リカちゃん。
はいなのです。
I really like how these sprites have really micro expressions in them. Keiichi's lies are top-notch quality, indeed. Very great. If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening. Had I done something that wrong? I felt plenty sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything. Really. Still, Tomitake-san and Takano-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there was obviously no way it would forgive only me. Good. Top-notch voice acting. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit that what happened that night, though, she might suddenly do 180, as if flipping a switch. That would make sense. Rika-chan was the shrine maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Oishi-san? Rika-chan could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi Maebara. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Of course, it's normal to hesitate. Even the crazy way Tomitake-san and Takano-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. The juice wrung out of it turned into big droplets of sweat, which began to fall.
Keiichi,
Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head.
ケイイチが何を悩んでいるのか僕にはよくわからないのです。
Yeah. I had nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little so that Rika-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me, kind of like one would a cat.
境内の裏を少し行ったところに大きな倉庫があるのをご存知ですか？
How on the nose?
西宮殿と言いますです。
My breath literally stopped. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all.
お祭りの晩、その西宮殿に猫さんが入り込んだのだそうです。
Yeah, sure. A cat.
猫？
はい。にゃーにゃーなのです。
Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me.
猫さんは前から西宮殿の中を探検してみたいと思っていました。でも僕が意地悪をして中を見せてあげなかったのです。なので祭りの夜、猫さんは我慢できなくなって中に入ってみましたのです。
The cat. That was clearly supposed to be Takano-san. Or wait, was it supposed to be me?
実は中には猫さんが怖がるものがたくさんあったのです。
I mean, that kind of gives the answer. Rika-chan made a cute gesture like a ghost was coming out to frighten me.
猫さんはびっくり仰天。一目散に逃げ出してガタガタブルブルニャーニャーで大変なのです。
その猫が誰だって言うんだ？
猫さんは猫さんです。にゃーにゃー。
Rika-chan still avoided saying it. The cat, though, was without a doubt me.
リカちゃん、頼む、教えてくれ。その猫さんはこれからどうしたらいい？
Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I had sort of admitted to being the cat.
猫さんは猫さんですから、にゃーにゃー泣いてるだけで大丈夫ですよ。
That's an interesting answer.
大丈夫って、そんないい加減な。
にゃーにゃー泣いてるだけではダメなのですか？
Jeez, Rika-chan and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I had already admitted it. I didn't want to end up like those two. I didn't want to be a sacrifice like Shion said. That's what I thought. So I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough.
泣いてるだけじゃダメなんだ。猫さんがいたずら心で忍び込んだのを犬さんが見てたんだよ。
犬さん。
そうだ、犬さんなんだ。猫さんのところへ代わる代わるやってきて忍び込んだだろうって問いただしてくるんだ。
After I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. Man, this is really kind of surprisingly intense. She was trying to hide it, but I'd already noticed her eyes darkening.
リカちゃん
The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan grinned.
大丈夫ですよ。猫さんは僕が守ってあげます。
Oh dear lord, I've got a real bad feeling where this will end up. Huh? I thought for a moment that I had misheard those words, so dependable they were.
猫さんはとても怖がっていますが、本当はそんなに大変なことではないのです。
Oh my. I think I remember how this ends up.
何匹かの犬さんがきっと勘違いしてるだけなのだと思います。
そんなに大変なことじゃないって。
猫さんの心配しすぎなのです。僕がきっと何とかしてあげますですよ。
Rika-chan will do something about it? I don't even know where left from right at the moment, so Rika-chan didn't look all that dependable.
ちょっと大変ですけど頑張りますですよ。ファイト王なのです。
Aww. She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. Rika-chan said that the cat can just keep meowing. She said to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing?
本当にリカちゃんで大丈夫なのか？
僕が頑張らないと犬さんも大変なことになってしまうかもしれないのです。
How intriguing. I wonder what she means by that. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore. She had been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first, I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was not worry and to leave it to her. Rika-chan straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but to start to cry.
ごめん。猫さんも本当にちょっとしたいたずらのつもりだったんだ。こんなことになるなんて全然。
猫さんは臆病すぎです。だから見せたくなかったのです。
This is really freaking... It's really interesting how effective just mere words can be. Like, this is our surprisingly effective. Not as a horror moment, but as just a straight up emotional moment. She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at in the first place, wasn't it?
リカちゃん、その猫さんはどうなるんだろう。忍び込んだ2匹の猫さんがあの晩に。
I'd heard Tomitake-san and Takan-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it.
富武と高野ですか？
I gave a sudden thought at the sudden mention of actual names. Though it's weird to do that at this point.
忘れると良いのです。
My spine froze again.
忘れる？
はい。あの二人のことを思い出すことは圭一にとって良くないことなのです。考えれば考えるほど怖くなるだけです。
Ah.
だから早く忘れた方がいいのです。
He said something so enormously terrifying. without letting the smile on her face waver at all.
どこで聞いたかわかりませんが、きれいさっぱりお風呂でゴシゴシするみたいに忘れちゃうと良いのですよ。
忘れるって言ったって、リカちゃんは知ってるんだろう。あの二人がどういう死に方を。
どんな死に方をしても、それは圭一とは関係のないことなのです。
This is a really good conversation. I love this. It's a terrifying one, but it's really good. Rika declared this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me. So forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy. But suddenly she took on another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Keiichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me.
シオンはあいつはどうなるんだ。
Might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point.
姉妹猫の妹ですか？にゃーにゃー。
そうだ。妹猫だ。
Rika-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence.
姉猫は怒ってます。妹猫が悪いことをしたので、とても怒ってます。
姉猫って。
That could only mean Mila. I recall being questioned by her yesterday.
圭一、姉猫はとても機嫌が悪いです。しばらくの間、そっとしてあげてほしいなのです。
Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad. He was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse.
今日から部活はなしにしましょう。
なんでだよ。
そっとしてあげてほしいからなのです。
That's quite the firm visage that she has. Rika-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. Hey Keiichi Maibara, don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her, just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything, like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget everything about Takan-san and Tomitake-san and what I did that night. Just then we heard a bell far away, marking the end of our lunch break.
じゃあ校舎に戻ろうか。
圭一、
As if she had noticed how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, Rika-chan called out to stop me.
勘違いの犬さんが猫さんに噛みつこうとしたら知らせてくださいね。
A misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one.
勘違いの犬さんってなんだ。
村長を噛んだ犬さんです。
Who in the name of... What?
どうして村長を噛んだのか、僕にはわかりません。
That's... Could it be the village? I don't know.
噛むなら、いたずら猫さんを先に噛むはずなのにです。
The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. sacrifices of that terrible calamity. She admitted that if they were to happen again, it would be Shion or I. This, I didn't know what was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear, and nearly began to change into anger. Was she a savior who would protect me? Or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? I had no idea what was true.
ごめんなさいなのです。猫さんが怖がっているのに、また怖がるようなことを言ってしまいました。
Man, I need to eat, but I can't eat. I'm just too involved.
ごめんなさいなのです。
Gomen. Rika-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. Still, she was right. Cowering. I could distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached her hand to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking.
ごめん。
Rika-chan made a very sad face, but I just couldn't bring myself to put out my head for her again. That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities, so she suggested we don't bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Rana and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remembered Rika-chan's words and quietly stole a glance at Moon's expression. If I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. Man, such a good chapter. Such a really good chapter. I'm pretty goddamn happy about that. Is that the end of the chapter? Nope, that's only the halfway point of the chapter. I believe? Yes, indeed. Quite indubitably. I do believe now that now would be a good time to change the game for the time being. So, we shall save the game and I really want to continue, but I really want to wait for Shrek before continuing. So we shall change the game.